New Jersey's going to go into hell, isn't it?
That seems like a really excellent ground for a lawsuit or 1,000.
You're not affecting us. Hmm.
We don't give a shit.
Wow. Are you affecting my
Hmm.
personal way of life? No? Alright, fine, whatever. Cool.
You got my
That's
vote.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
Mm.
Yo, he's not this nice. Oh
That is
my
a valid
god.
American response, let alone.
I love that so much. Also, can I just say, I'm surprised that no one is sucking it up. There's a precedent for body autonomy, being supported by the Fourth Amendment, which means vaccine mandates would be made unconstitutional. Problem
Yeah.
is I think it was the case that allowed for abortion to be made legal. Yeah. So for some reason, no one wants to go to lean back on that precedent for this.
Yeah.
Very weird. We have the precedent. Why are we not using it?
Hmm.
Hmm. I hate
Curious.
I hate people almost as much as I love people, and it's very frustrating.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Fanfiction 9004. I'm your host, as always, Sneaky Devil. So, as Arn has correctly called it out, I have a little story for you before we all get started, and then we'll
Oh no.
hop right on into it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna read
Oh
that.
no.
Oh no.
At least Atin isn't here today.
I know,
Wait,
right?
wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait, hang on. Wait, how bad is this?
It personally
Uh,
calls him out at several points.
Yeah,
If it's
no,
what I
so,
think it is.
yeah, basically,
Wait, what?
Arn was explaining our podcast to someone else on a different server, and he put a
Uh-huh.
bunch of bulletin points of basically how the podcast breaks down and what occurs.
Yeah,
And I
a
was like,
timeline
yeah,
of
you're pretty
events.
much right on all of those.
Okay.
And they weren't very flattering to some people.
Yeah,
Can I
specifically Atin.
I have to
can I
see
see
this.
these bulletins?
Yeah, send them the
Yeah,
send them the
screen cap it
list,
for
yeah.
him.
But no, my story today involves ShopRite. So I went to go work for the local ShopRite today, and to start it all off, I submitted an application to them for night crew, and so the lady calls me and she's like, "Do you want to work for us?" Like, yeah, that's why I submitted an application. Like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Can you like come in for an interview? Yeah, sure. How about like tomorrow or something? They're like, what? Oh, yeah, of course, yes, just come in. I'm like, holy shit, are they really that desperate for people?
Oh. Oh
They were
no.
shocked that I was willing to come in for an interview?
Oh my
Okay.
god. Wow. That's I I'm sorry. I'm remembering my retail experience of 2016,
Yeah.
which most of them were like, are you working at this GameStop because you like games or because do you actually just want money and you want an okay working environment? Because
You'll get
coworkers made
neither
it
here.
bearable. Well, no, co-workers at the store made it bearable.
Fair enough.
We had a lot of really good regulars.
So-
It was just the manager at the time was a dickweed that no one actually liked.
So I get in there. I went today. The interview was today, and I get in and I sit down and I'm talking with the HR lady, and she's like, asking me all the questions. She's like, "Why do you want to join our ShopRite family?" I'm like, "I'm gonna be real with you. I have bills I need to pay." And she's like, "Yeah, we all do." Fair enough. She writes it down.
Understandable.
She writes it down. We're moving on. So, what's the most stressful confrontation you've ever had with a coworker before? I'm like, "Oh, well, I know. I've been threatened with a knife before by one of my coworkers." She's like, "What?" I told you I've worked a very interesting smattering of jobs. So then,
As someone who knows Sneaky, not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because he was a leftist and he thought I was a Nazi. Which I find incredibly insulting. I wouldn't nearly be as inefficient as the Germans when it comes to exterminating someone.
We finished the fucking job.
Right, exactly. Come on. That's one of my best working points. I always finish the job.
Gee, Sneaky,
Yeah.
I wonder why they could have ever made the confusing distinction there.
I can't fathom it myself. Unlike the German war machine, I also never arrived on time.
True.
But no, so she calls up the floor manager for the night shift, and we sit down and we're talking a bit. And he's like, "Oh, I see you like to make beef jerky." I'm like, "Yeah, it's something I do." And he's like, "I like making beef jerky too." Okay, thanks for sharing, I guess. And we get down to the question of, "Oh, you said you've only been stabbed before." I was like, "Yep." He threatened me with a knife. He's like, "Did you lay him out?" And I'm like, "No, I did not. I went to the supervisor." Yes, I see. Mental issues? Yeah, he had mental issues. Like,
Yeah.
yep, I understand. "Oh, he says you need to pay bills, that's why you want to work here." I'm like, "Yep, that's why." He's like, "We all have to pay bills, and we all have to do a job to do it." I'm like, "Yep." I see.
This sounds so incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there you go, Max. I sent you a screen cap of
I'm like,
the
"Okay,
list.
well,
Oh,
it was good
God.
meeting you." He's like, "Yes, I think you'll fit in great here. Bye."
Oh, so they're all a bunch of introvert assholes. Perfect.
Excellent.
I'm just like,
Misery loves company.
this is gonna be some. Also, right. So, just want to make sure you're clear on what we're doing here. Everyone's gonna be assigned an aisle they need to fill by the end of the night. Also, sometimes, occasionally, we'll gangbang an aisle. And when I say gangbang an aisle, I mean everyone's gonna run through the aisle putting things into it until it's finished. Just to be clear. Like, okay.
Please do not put your dick in the eye.
Thanks for clearing that one up for me. I kind of picked up from the inference of the word and combining it with the eye, but thanks for clearing that up. I think it's gonna be interesting working there.
True.
But yeah, it's a 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. to 7 in the morning shift, so it's gonna be something.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's get started for the night. So what haven't we done in a while? I think have we done this? Have we done this one yet?
Don't know. Let's see the title.
Yeah.
Oh, let me
find out.
do a search bar first. Oh, we've already done it.
Good.
Hooray for us. A winner we are.
Yes.
Thank you, past us. Very cool.
It's also entirely possible I just got really drunk, never read it, but I'm just going to err on the side of caution.
Or
of never
you
reading
read,
something terrible.
or you ended up reading the summary and that was it. That
you know,
happens
that's an
often, too.
entirely possible statement there.
Yeah.
Familiar
of Zero Dragon Age. I'm sure this is gonna be cringe.
I have no idea what fucking setting was changed in my Twitch stuff recently, but every time this stream goes live, they send
Yeah.
me a fucking email.
Yeah.
It's only your channel, by the way.
I hacked Twitch to hack you and changed
We
your
both know you're
settings.
not that competent.
I contacted UNATCO and
Okay, you might be that competent.
and then rerouting it through the Statue of Liberty, I managed to change your computer settings. Wow. I cannot imagine writing 120k words for a story and getting only 60 reviews and 165 favorites out of it. I would honestly drop a story if those are the stats that came from it.
I feel attacked now. I feel very attacked.
Yeah, you feeling a bit attacked there, Max?
Just a little, Sneaky. Just a little. That's what I get for writing in a somewhat unpopular section.
Yeah, it is exactly what you get, actually.
Actually, how large is the crossover section for FOZ and
It's
Dragon
probably
Age?
the only story, to be honest.
Oh, there are at least 2 others.
Oh no.
Unfortunately.
For a total of 8. 5
Yeah.
of them are rated M.
Yep. Well, I mean, it is Dragon Age, so.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all English too. Wow.
And this one is the top scoring one.
Oh
So it's
my.
actually at the top of the list, technically.
This is the best of the section. Well, you saw it here first, folks. We only bring you the best fan fiction on this podcast. This is the best this section has to offer you. So just keep that in mind.
Oh my god, the fucking third one.
Oh, the fuck?
Void
What is
Dragon.
that?
Summary inside for it is too large for the front, but 2 dragon are involved. Is this entire first chapter just the summary? Oh god,
No,
Is-
it's not.
it's not.
It doesn't appear to be a summary.
Wait, where's the summary?
I don't know.
There's
no summary.
The whole story is the summary, of course.
Also, man, that
New
awesome
fic
name.
of mine always wondered what would happen, so I like, fuck it, do it for shits and giggles. Oh, I love chaos.
Okay, well, this dude hasn't been active since 2017, but man, the
Thank
author
the
name.
Lord.
Well, it's one of the good ones. Ugh.
What a blessing.
This summary is too long. Then write a shorter summary. Thank you, reviewers.
Maybe start with writing a summary.
Maybe try
Yeah.
writing a summary first. Hi, my
Very
name
true.
is Cyrus Saint, the first and only true god. I can tell what era he's from.
Ah yes, the era of crippling autism.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. A very big Mass Effect, no way, dude.
The creator of time and space, I support the universe and keep it from collapsing. This is the era of, like, 2016. No, he's coming more off like a 2006 text-based roleplay. Not game, just roleplay. Text-based roleplay where everyone picked out their characters. Maybe
Yeah.
late 2010. Where everyone just kind of made posts about, oh, my character can shoot lasers out of his asshole, and he blew up the moon.
Yeah. Very truly.
You know, maybe it's concentrated in certain forms. Started by a lupine horror, maybe.
I don't like what you're implying, my guy. Don't fucking go there. Enough of this shit.
It looks like most of his stories do not have a great track record. What the fuck is this? Why are they all caps locked or not caps locked?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Transformers Ruby? What the fuck?
Bro, his first fucking
What?
story. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Cyrus didn't know it yet, but he was awakening the memories of the past. He thinks he's a normal teenage boy, but he unlocked god powers. On hold.
October
Yeah.
7th, 2016.
It was his first story as Cyrus the Saint. A
Imagine
very
that.
big Mass Effect.
Yeah, that one stuck out to me. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just a very big one.
What the fresh hell did I join? Fuck off for?
Oh my god, it's like the fucking list predicted.
So anyway, the story we're gonna read
Like a
tonight
book.
isn't these. Not these. This low tier trash. We're reading the
Yeah.
number one story of the section.
Reading some high tier trash.
We're gonna read only the highest tier trash here. So this is the Grey Warden of the Void.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that I'll say about titles. When it comes to, I've said it before, when it comes to stories sort of like Harry Potter, it's fine in my personal opinion that if you do a Harry Potter and the blank blank, because that's
Yeah.
the naming scheme that J.K. Rowling set up.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, that's like totally cool, that's awesome, that's great. But if it's I don't know, a Familiar of the Void, it's people just feel the obsessive need to shove Of the Void onto every title. It's like robots and manifestations of the void. Why? The plot of
Yeah.
Mice and Men and the void. Okay, we get it. I remember reading this. Oof. Well,
Well, that's an aura moment.
that's unfortunate.
Right there.
That's you should have added that to the list.
Oh yeah, fuck.
The fifth blight has ended. Oh, by the way, Isley is back and apparently made it out of basic training. The fifth blight
Somehow.
has ended with the death of the archdemon, and peace returned to Ferelden once again, but at what cost? Louise de
My
la
sanity.
Valerie from Tristane summon what she think normal elf, but in reality she summon very own hero of Ferelden that sacrifice her own life to save Ferelden and her friends of Ferelden. Will she help Louise, or will she keep her duty as Grey Warden of Ferelden? About 10k words per chapter. Well, actually more than 10k words, but still.
Yeah. About
10.2.
10, 10.5 maybe. I
No.
don't know.
Yeah,
Math.
yeah.
10.5 sounds maybe a bit much.
Yeah,
10
10.2.
point. Yeah. Whatever.
Something like that.
Math.
Meth. From death to Tristane, the end of Blight had ended it before truly began.
Well, okay then.
What?
Yeah.
Ferelden
ended before it
had
started.
been saved. An entire kingdom rose up to joyously greet its new king. The Grey Wardens stood redeemed, and a new age had begun. But at what cost? The cost of losing his true love, Eurodice. That stood...
Liver damage.
Huh?
Liver damage.
Ah, yes, liver damage. That stood with during the blight that she sacrificed her own life to stop it for saving the man she loved, the love that she never knew before she met him.
Yeah.
Yes, typically you don't know you love someone before you meet them. Thank you.
That's
author,
really
for-
weird.
Thank
Imagine
you.
that.
Yeah, right. I've never met someone before, but I feel overwhelming love for them.
That's concerning.
Dear God, I must have read this years ago because this is painful now. Yeah,
Yeah, imagine that. We managed to beat some standards into even aura. The miracles we have done.
There on Red Cliff, she and her love save from evil undead by freeing Connor from demon that was possessing him. Her lifeless body remained there on stone altars surrounded by flowers wearing same massive armor she used to fight with Archdemon. The Warden Commander armor standing front of her stand Alistair, new King of Ferelden, and also Grey Warden wearing armor that his deceased brother once used, and that same one he used to fight Archdemon with her. He looked at her face and see her peaceful, the same elf face that he meted.
Method. Alright. That's cool. Excellent.
That he meted back Ostagar, the same long silver hair, pale skin, the same beauty he meted there, space period. On the funeral, there the same companion that fought alongside her, the people that helped her along her journeys. Every member of the circle personally went there to say goodbye for the last time their best student and mage ever had. The silence hovered there until the king broke it. My friends, we are gathered here to pay our respects to the Grey Warden that saved us all, he started. She gave her life to destroy the Blight, a sacrifice we must never forget. It was no accident that she was either. Either what?
Who knows?
That she was a sacrifice?
I don't fucking know.
Wait. Oh. I'm gonna keep drinking until it makes less sense and I give up.
Understandable.
I've arrived. Did they hear they made TARDIS? Wait. What?
I hadn't heard that. And frankly, I don't care.
I am going to regret the following words I'm going to type into Google.
Yeah.
God, I was really hoping to get around this.
Were you?
Yeah. Okay, good. It's not a popular search, therefore I can ignore it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask for a source or fake on that one, Birdie.
Yeah. Okay. There was no accident she was a sacrifice either. She was special, and each of us had our life touched by her in some way. Alistair, okay, well,
Yeah,
Alistair, you don't need to
CPS,
be.
hello?
I mean,
FBI?
we don't need to hear
Anyone?
about your sex life. Yeah, I'm sorry, Birdie, but I'm not searching those words live on air.
Yeah.
Just not. Sneaky's FBI is gonna be concerned about the search history. No, the FBI agent follows my podcast. It's all right.
Yeah, it's me. I am the FBI agent.
I knew it.
You're all welcome.
Blames far more than it should.
Blah blah. Really bad grammar. What's Circle of Magi? No further possessions. Circle restored. Veil Tower. Blah blah. New tower built. Chantry's age. Hero name. Once tower is built, I grant Circle autonomy. What? said Templar Shock. "But your majesty, I think what has happened only proves," he said, revolted by his king. But the king interrupted him. "How dare you set these people free?"
The peasants are revolting.
Blah 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 blah. So this is the other part, is I actually do agree with the Templars. I don't agree with the extremist measures that Dragon Age takes when it concerns Templars and mages, but mages governing themselves has clearly, repeatedly, completely failed, as the demons just all possess the mages.
What the fuck? Statist sneaky? Cringe.
I'm sorry, but if my neighbor has a connection to the demon realm and at any point in time can turn into a giant hulking horror because they got too greedy, they fell asleep, or they took a new batch of drugs one day and decided, hey, you know what'd be cool? Getting fucked to death. And then suddenly I have to deal with that and I have to fight
Well, I mean, there is a solution.
it? A final solution. Concentrating all the
recreational
mages in one
mixture.
location.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that would work as well. But you know, nukes for private ownership? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I had a nuclear weapon in private ownership, I could definitely take on a mage abomination.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, big cringe. I believe the Templars need to be in control of mages in terms of executing them if they go insane, because the Templars are actually trained on how to deal with demons, like actually deal with demons. But no, there's a lot of corruption that goes on there, so obviously the current system is crap, but I think going the complete opposite direction is also dumb. Anyway, they set her body on fire, but then suddenly it vanished in a giant portal.
Amazing.
And basically the author regurgitates fanon about what everyone says, basically a copy-paste. So anyone that's ever read a Familiar of Zero story before knows pretty much all the lines here. A woman on the ground, blah blah blah, something. Hey, wake up, who are you? And blah blah blah, drowning in darkness, blah blah blah, blurry figure asking for my aid in front of me. Blah blah blah, mages, blah blah blah, circle, blah blah blah. A circle with open hair. What? As opposed to closed hair? Okay. Suddenly, a female voice spoke behind me, and when I turned, what? And when I turn, how was it? It was pink hair girl speaking to me on strange language.
How are you when to do it?
Where were you when you turn around to do it?
When are you? When was the where?
Blah 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 blah. Stranger in armor. Blah. Oh my God, she's an elf. I like how it goes. Luis point of view. Luis is saying things. Normal point of view.
Yes.
Back to the main character.
Luis is clearly a deranged psychopath. It's true.
Luis confirmed. Do you mind tell me where I am, Dalen? Asked pink-haired girl, but she didn't respond to her. Then Wind made her hair covering her eyes, but when your dice fixed it back to normal, she looked back at girl and she shocked and scared for some reason. She tried to approach girl, but stepped back in fear. What's wrong? Stop right there, elf. Don't dare touch my students, said the elder mage, and then she goes, I don't understand what you're saying to me. Then why did you
Brain
write her
hemorrhage.
understanding it? I find reverse summons more interesting because they tend to take Louise and make her a more interesting character who undergoes growth in a more interesting setting. Yeah, more or less. Like, there was a really good one called Dead World or something, where Louise ends up in Fallout, New Vegas specifically.
Yes.
And her and her magic was like radiation and shit, and it was cool.
Them rad spitting different.
Indeed. Don't move. I will attack you. You know, see, this is something I don't really understand. So, someone is clearly non-hostile, confused, speaking a foreign language, and you pull a gun on them and say, "Stop moving! I'll shoot you!" And they continue speaking a foreign language and continue acting confused. And you're like, "I already told you once! Stop moving!" It's like,
This is America.
I don't think they can understand you, buddy.
Yeah.
Maybe the reason why they're not doing what you said is because they don't know what the fuck you're saying.
True.
Pointing her arm at him. Due to the fact that he didn't understand what she was saying, he thought she was sending him a spell, so he shot a spell at her. And then Eurydice used a spell to protect herself from his spell. And Colbert's like,
Riveting.
"What? A barrier spell?"
Absolutely riveting.
Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. She protected Louise from being burned to death by her own teacher. An elf protecting a human, that's impossible. Well, Colbert, it just happened right in front of you. So I don't really know how impossible, or what your definition of it is.
Yeah. That's impossible. Are you sure about that?
Like, I can understand you saying it as like a, "I can't believe what just happened" sort of thing, but when you outline exactly what just happened and then say that can't possibly have just happened, I don't know, you sort of lose the oomph of a sudden declaration of disbelief.
Yeah.
Yes, stay away from my student, you evil elf. I'll kill them myself. Yes.
True. Oi, that's my kid, you
Well,
fuck. Don't kill Steve.
That, you know,
I was farming her for XP.
I think that part of
Bro,
that,
come on, that's my loot, you fuck.
I'm pretty sure part of that comes from like the human reaction. Like when someone says something to you and you say, "Huh," you aren't actually asking them to repeat the question. You're trying to get a moment to process it.
Well, yeah,
I
it's
think
like
most
saying
authors just don't get that, and they don't show it very well. That they
Yeah.
just can't process. Like I've seen this done well, and it's obvious the character's trying to process what the fuck just happened, but here they just kind of threw the line out because it would be dramatic.
So then she punched the ground, making the earth shake underneath her. And this caught the teacher unguarded, and he fell by losing his balance. Yes, author. Many people fall when they lose their balance. In fact, that's the
People die when
most
they're
common occurrence of falling, is when you lose your balance.
Voluntarily or not.
Indeed. And then she used the glyph of paralysis to stop him from doing anything. The mage cursed. He was tricked. The elven mage approached him. Very well, now we can speak properly. And he looked at her instead. Very well, it is confirmed they don't speak my language, and I don't speak theirs. Just maybe there is language that is similar to theirs, but right now, let's test how many he know. Well, finally, language classes back in circle. Hello, do you understand me? Hello, do you understand me? Hello, do you understand me? And then I said, hello, do you understand me in Orlean? And then he finally reacted. And she was like, oh boy, I can now speak to them in Orlean.
Amazing.
Isn't the teacher a veteran war hero? Shouldn't he be more experienced in dealing with tense situations? Yes, and yes.
One would think.
In fact,
Yeah.
he's more than just a war hero. He's a veteran special forces operative.
Yeah.
He was literally leader of the special forces at one point.
Yeah.
After seeing the elven, the elven, after sending some kind of spell professor that stop him from moving, then she approached him, speaking to him with language of hers. Then she stood there thinking. Then she started speaking in other language. Everyone sound different. I think she was trying to find a way to speak with him. Greetings. Do thee comprehend I? Wait, the elf was speaking in Old Tristan. That is not how languages work.
Yeah.
At all. Now, admittedly, it is possible to hypothetically say, in this scenario, when someone is thinking that they're saying, do you understand me in X language? That, to someone else that speaks that language, they're saying something else in terms of the literal translation. Like, for example, Russian doesn't include the word the. So,
Yeah.
in English, the translation to asking someone, where is the vodka? It would be more like saying, where vodka?
Yep.
In a literal translation.
Yeah.
So that, but in your mind, as someone who would speak both English and Russian, and you saying in Russian to someone, where is the vodka? You would, in your mind, be thinking, in Russian, where is the vodka? And say but the two words, where vodka, which will be literally translated in yada yada. All that said, however,
Good comrade.
yeah, basically. All that said, however, what wouldn't happen is, do you understand me being understood by everyone else as, does thou understand I? No.
Yeah.
No.
There's no like Shakespeareification.
And you can say, oh, it's the old version of English. Well, shockingly, the old version of English is actually still just English. And someone speaking the old version of English would just sound like they're from Cockney or the American South. They wouldn't be speaking Shakespearean English.
Not entirely, but mostly.
Yeah,
Enough.
I mean, there is some words that have been depreciated, but they would...
And a lot that have been acquired.
Right, yes. But, like, if someone said, you are a Belknap, I would still hear them say, I am a Belknap. I wouldn't hear them say, you're a rambunctious scoundrel. You know, like...
Yeah, exactly.
The word suddenly doesn't change the order they're saying it. just because I am not speaking, you know, older versions of the dialect we're currently speaking that they are speaking. It's like they'll use words that I won't understand, or they'll use words in an order, not in an order, but in a definition that I don't understand, that was different between the two time periods. But they'll still be saying those words in that exact order. If she is speaking a foreign language, like if she was speaking, I don't know, Romalian, and Luis is going, my Romalian is bad, but I'm pretty sure she just said, does thou understand thee I would be like, oh, okay, she's bad at Romalian, and she's translating it poorly because it's an older version of the dialect. That would make sense, but no, you can't be like, oh yeah, she's speaking an older version of French. I, as a French speaker, cannot understand her at all, because reasons.
Yeah, now, with that said, there is a cutoff point to English's intelligibility with older English.
Yeah.
I don't really know where it is, but like somewhere in the 1300s at the very earliest. Probably later. And when you hit like Anglo-Saxon, then
Right. But that makes it another language. It's like that's no longer just changing the definitions of words anymore that have changed over time. It's like it's fully a different language then.
Exactly. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that languages change over time even more than whatever this author is trying to imply.
My point being though is someone speaking Old French, there is a cutoff point. If you're able to understand them, you're able to understand them, or you're not able to understand them because it's basically a separate language at that point. Like, there's no point in time where someone says, how are you? And instead of how are you from them, you hear, how thee fare.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how translations work.
Imagine that. A fanfiction author gets everything wrong?
Fanfiction author gets everything wrong, episode 576.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty short story. Luis summons elf, Cobalt snipes elf. Yeah, I mean, you know, you have to get that kill streak going.
True.
So you can call the
You gotta
menu
keep it up.
again.
Exactly.
To flame snack. Yes, indeed. And spells blah blah blah, and then he's like, okay, well, since you can speak Old French, I'm gonna improve this by casting magic on you to make you speak New French. Wait, what the fuck, author? How, like, you're supposed to show this to us, not tell us this. Colbert looked at her and sees she wasn't like any elf he ever saw. Because he sees a lot of elves. He sees them every day in the streets, doing drugs, shooting each other. Something on her... Wait. What? Colbert looked at her and sees that wasn't like any elf he ever saw. Something on her... Quotation... Wait a moment, miss. I help our talk being more easier.
What?
He said as he lift his staff and starts spinning around, in a light starts surrounding her and then it vanish. Now you should understand me right, he said to her. For some reason she could now understand him.
Bro.
Why wouldn't she be able to understand him? what's the point of telling someone, hold on a moment, I'm gonna do something really quick, and then you point your gun at them and you're like, all right, hold on, just hold still. It's just like, but they can't understand you. Like, the whole premise of him casting the spell on her is that she doesn't understand what he's doing with the staff, so he has to warn her in the language she apparently doesn't speak enough to the point that he has to cast a spell on her to translate.
Yeah. You know, really good example of a modern version of a language interacting with an older version was done in A Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, their words are jumbled, like the order of the words are like a little bit jumbled, but it's still English. And so they get confused with him because he's using words they've never heard, but they still get the gist because he's still speaking English.
Right, and also because English as a trade language was sort of built for you to be able to say 7 out of 10 words and have it be understood. Yeah. The general idea of what you were saying to someone else.
No, if the author had done this proper, it'd been like, cool, I cast a spell, you're still speaking Old Tristane. Fuck. I
cast a spell, now we should be able to understand you. Why, yes, thee has done an excellent job. It's like, oh, fuck.
Crap, she's still sitting here.
Please go back to speaking a different language so the spell works.
Oh.
I thought we rid that language from our halls almost 5 years ago.
I thought my purge was successful. Oh. The truth behind Colbert's purge was actually getting rid of the old French.
Base. What about the Irish, though?
Who cares about the Irish? They need not apply.
The car bomb does.
Blah blah blah. Academy of Magic. Circle teaches only to nobles. Circle of Magi. Dominate trans. Blah blah blah. Thedas government. Blah blah blah. Templar order. Blah blah blah. Taking the circle. Blah blah blah. Brought to the circle. Blah blah blah. Templars. Blah blah blah. Colbert took pity on the girl. Even with her being an elf, she said she was taken forcefully away from her family. I am sorry for earing that. Okay. Dolsby Circle wasn't so bad. There were lots of children there. You just finished explaining to him that children are regularly kidnapped and brought to the circle to be trained as mages. You cannot say, don't worry about me being kidnapped. There were lots of other children there. That is the opposite of reassuring someone.
In fact, this being Colbert, this motherfucker's about to mobilize as the one-man army that he is because there are kids in danger now. Like, just a thought. Oh.
I tried to cast Fireball on you for trying to cook you, but let me just try another spell on you. Yes, indeed, Jin.
Oh. That's a good point.
Yeah, I know I just tried to kill you, but here, let me point my gun at you again and cast another spell.
Let me just shoot another bullet. This is a good bullet, though, believe me.
Don't worry, it's a good bullet.
It's a healing bullet.
Like Baldwin be like.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
My name's Colbert, blah blah blah, Circle for Eldon, Grey Warden, blah blah blah, how am I brought here, summoning contract, blah blah blah, wait, I'm familiar now like a servant, I'm sorry, there's another way. You can't run away because we won't allow it. Everyone will try and kill you because you're an elf. Very well, I'll become your servant, said the main character, who historically through Dragon Age 1 killed a shit ton of people who were slavers. Okay. Just wanted to point out that one right there is in Dragon Age 1, you kill a lot of people. and you're pretty much
fuck yes.
you're pretty much never given the option to not murder a shit ton of people. There's occasionally you can get away with like talking your way out of it, but as an elf mage, your storyline's pretty fucked.
I woke up and I chose
Yes.
violence.
No,
The
Arn,
elves?
the elf mage storyline is I woke up and violence chose me.
Fair enough.
It very much is. It's hilarious. It's so bad.
Violence made the right choice. Let's fucking go.
Violence chose me, but I threw hands.
Yeah. Violence chose to fuck around. It found out.
Basically, yeah. The mage elf storyline is very murdery. A lot of people fucking die.
Basically.
It's impressive how many people go.
Honestly, I think the only one that's more murdery is the male human storyline.
Chad.
Maybe. And that's only because like an entire castle of people die ready to start.
Sigma male grind set.
Indeed. So anyway, blah blah blah. So anyway, she kisses the elf, and the elf's like, "OMG, did she just kiss me?" In all caps. Blah blah blah, and then the elf passes out, and Luis is like, "Oh my god, she's so heavy." Well, I mean, she is wearing fucking blade mail.
Okay.
Blah blah blah, until she wail up. What? You're gonna leave me with her? Bye. Why is this happening to me? I was hoping for a dragon, but instead I got an elf. Fucking Christ, what the hell is this? Where are you going? What do you think, Dalen? I'm getting out of this place, but you can't go. You're my familiar. You can't leave. It's called slavery, Luis. That's a little bit different. Sorry, I don't have intentions of being your familiar. No, you're staying here. Look, Schlem. Schlem was a word that she rarely used, and only used it on people that she really didn't like. Forcefully removes Luis from the front of her, and starts walking away. Just wait. Oh, she's saying, watch me. Oh, I see. I was really confused when she's like, just look at me, Schlem. And then just walking away, it's like, what? The fuck are these pejoratives? Dragon Age. As an elf, you also see lots of slavery and elves being treated as second-class citizens. Yeah, yes, you do. Yeah. As a fun fact, actually, Max. So, if you're ever wondering where I got the inspiration with the whole grim and civilization and distance from it idea, and the whole faunus connection as to the farther you away from civilization, the more faunus traits pop up. It's actually Dragon Age. I got it from Dragon Age.
Oh.
Because elves lose their immortality when they're near humans, but regain it when they move away from humans.
Huh. Cool.
Yes.
You learned
it's always cool to be like, I know I was It's always cool to be like, I know I was inspired on this idea, I just don't remember from when. And then you remember.
Oh no, I knew the entire time.
Oh, okay. Well, you just never shared that with me.
I just never needed to bring it up because there was no point.
Well, fair enough.
But now we're here.
Huh.
Hope
it works out.
Yeah, indeed. You know, blah 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 blah. And then they see some canon shit happen, and they're like, "Damn! I know we're having a canon moment and everything, but Luis's elf knight is just straight up leaving the academy." Lol.
Okay then.
Damn, she angry. And so
Yeah,
anyway,
looking at this author's profile page, I'm getting the feeling English is not their first language. And if it
I really
is,
hope it's
oh
not.
boy.
I really, really hope it's not. I can't believe this is the most popular story. That is the most baffling aspect of this entire thing, is this is the most popular story. How is it possible that they don't know about the circle? Maybe it's a country that Chantry doesn't know about? Blah blah blah. Dwight, Darkspawn. She tried to concentrate and didn't hear them, but she didn't sense any Darkspawn. There wasn't Darkspawn here at all. No, it can't be. They are an enemy of every race. It's impossible. Oh my god, there's 2 moons! Why is that everyone's reaction? Like, if I ever looked up, if I, like, woke up in somewhere weird and looked up and I saw 2 moons, I'd probably be like, well,
Oh, cool.
shit.
2 moves.
You just fucking wake up and you
Like, I
go,
wouldn't be like, oh my
moon's
god,
haunted.
no, this is impossible, there's 2 moons. I'd just be like, no, you're like, well, fuck me sideways. That's what my reaction would be. Like, it's gonna be a little bit harder to get home than I think.
Do I actually want to go home, though?
That's gonna be
I have
it.
to
Well,
pay
I mean,
taxes
yeah,
there.
always go home, Greg. I got my computer at home.
True.
It's like, what am I supposed
is
to do?
true.
I mean,
Not read
You
and
could
play
probably
video
commit way more
games?
murder in a fantasy world, though.
I mean, yeah, I could. However, that does stipulate the chance for me to get murdered. And
Well,
if
I
I'm
mean,
dead, I can't do stuff.
Well, if you're dead, then that's no longer your problem.
That's also a true point, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Still, 2 moons, I'd be like, oh, shit. And then probably expect to be mugged at that point because plot demands it, but, you know. How is Louise still alive after literally leashing the murder-happy Grey Warden elf? Because she needs to be a main character, and therefore the author can't kill her off because that would deviate from canon. And then something happened to her, and she started to float in the air. And she's like, fucking hell, it must be that mage casting a spell on me. Damn, you are heavy, but I can handle it. Now look at you. You don't seem powerful like before. And she's like, don't mock me, Schlemmin. And she tried to dispel the spell, but she was too weak.
Slow-mo.
You're coming with me, elf, and I will not let you escape. Blah blah blah. Good servant, obey my orders. I will not obey a Schlemmin like you. My pride is a Grey Warden, I will not submit to you. Didn't you just agree to it earlier? I guess you were just like, wait, hold on a second. I didn't realize there'd be a branding. I suppose that's fair enough. So then Luis puts a literal leash around her neck that was attached to her bed. And the Grey Warden tries to break the leash, but can't. Imagine if she summoned a Templar and the Templar is just like, my faith compels your magic to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
Replay based.
Templar and Familiar of Zero, that would be something. Look at all these unrestrained mages. It's time for a crusade!
We have mages to kill.
Indeed. And then Louise chucks all of her dirty clothes at Eurydice's face. What are you doing? I'm throwing clothes at you for you to wash tomorrow. What do you think I am? I'm a Grey Warden, not a servant. You've been mentioning that word a lot. Grey Warden, what are you, a title? Some sort of title? It's something a schlemmin like you will never understand. What's that supposed to mean? I'm going to sleep. You better stay put and don't do nothing. She ordered your dice. Don't worry, I won't be like this for long. I would like to see that, Luis responded to her taunt. This author doesn't know anything about English.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave her ideas. Okay. Ideas. That wasn't a mistake. They're actually spelling ideas as ideas. Oh.
Ideas, bruh.
Now, Max, did I tell you about the German yet? The German that responded to me?
How
Oh,
did you
God.
piss off a German?
Easily.
Very easily.
No, so I left a
Didn't
review
you
on
talk
this
about
one
it last
guy's...
podcast?
I'm pretty sure I did,
think you
yeah.
did.
This German guy that I left a review on, and he said, I'm gonna write English as if I would write German, because that's how I write German.
That's not how that works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know.
That-
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Templar would literally cause an uprising and set about a revolution with the peasants happily joining. Yeah, also, fun fact is, as I believe it in 100%. In Dragon Age, the best part about Templars is they only require training. It is literally just the power of spite and possibly religion that allows them to cancel a mage's magic. Like, there is nothing special about Templars as far as I remember in Dragon Age. Like, their abilities can be enhanced with magic, and if you have a particular inclination to them, you can be a stronger Templar. But literally, you can just train and become a Templar and be able to cancel magic out of pure spite.
Based.
Yeah. Dragon Age was the thing.
Dragon Age was wild.
Yeah.
Fucking
Wait.
great time that
Oh my god, that story we
was.
just read took 5 fucking years to write 11 chapters.
Oh.
They got an average of 1 review a month.
Oh,
no.
here's their newest story. It's a Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Age crossover.
Oh boy.
That sounds positively riveting.
It looks like their grammar has not improved that much. A little bit. They figured out how dialogue works, I think. Yeah, it looks like they figured out how dialogue works, so it looks like English is their first language.
That's become their first language. You're welcome.
I'm not gonna say it's good, though. But I will say
No.
they improved from 2016. So over the
14,
course
actually.
of 5 years, over the course of 7 years, they actually improved their English, which is honestly quite impressive for the track record we've had.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be awful. Let's read it.
Oh well. Oh no. Oh no. Sneaky Y. Suffering eternal.
Indeed. Let's go. This is a Fate Stay Night Worm crossover called From Insect to Servant. Taylor didn't know what she was expecting today. Some boring old classes and a little bullying from the trio, maybe. But she definitely didn't see getting shoved into a disgusting locker. transported by a magical dimensional hopping vampire, and being sent on a quest to save the world with a sarcastic white-hailed swordsman. Yup, didn't see it coming at all.
Or
Minus
sandwich mob.
100 FFN social credit points. Yes, indeed. Yes. They lost all of their social credit points for posting this trash.
Yeah, this story recognizes Taiwan.
Literally, it's just like Zoken being involved is just so there's a major issue when it comes to merging Worm with anything. And that's because there is nothing on the world that would be hidden from the entities. Unless it's magical. And even then...
I mean, this is fairly obviously just like stealing Taylor story.
Oh, what?
A fucking world hopping, world transfer. Isekai?
No,
Isekai.
I don't think so. Jump chain.
No, it's not a jump chain. It's just that they take Taylor and put her in Fate.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I know, but what I'm trying to say here is it's a fusion because Zelrich is coming from the Fateverse over into Wormverse and is saying that we've been here the whole time. Now I'm going to bring you into Fateverse and we're going to do stuff there. Which
brain damage
is different from something occurring causing Taylor to end up in the Fateverse without a Fateverse intervention. Because that way around, you can at least excuse it as there's no magic on Earth, and whatever happens there was a weird anomaly, and the entities will never see it, and blah 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 blah. But by saying Zelrich went to Earthbat, the thing with Zelrich is that he can only go to planets that has another Zelrich on it that has discovered the
fair
kaleidoscope, which means that Zelrich on Earthbat,
not necessarily planets, well, universes, but yeah.
Yeah, that means Zelrich in the universe of Earthbat has discovered the kaleidoscope, which means magic exists on Earthbat.
Yeah.
Specifically, Nasu magic. Which is dumb. Because if Nasu magic exists on Earthbat, that means Gaia exists on Earthbat. That means all of the planets in the solar system are sentient. That means that the entities somehow are either suppressing them, or successfully fought them off, or a whole bunch of other stupid ass shit, which means the entities are outer beings, which means you can't kill them, which means that you've lost, and the story is over.
Yeah.
Yep.
This just in. Fate fanfiction writer ignores critical part of the lore.
Right.
What a twist.
Holy Grail War with Worm characters, honestly, lame.
Yeah, pretty cringe.
Worm entities in Destiny would develop depression because they have an undeniable proof that gods are real, and while they have what you seek, you won't get their appreciation. Yes. Also, I can absolutely see a fusion world between Destiny and Worm, where the Worm entities are just another creation of the darkness, or another empowered creature of the darkness, where they just go around and consume worlds.
As you do.
Giving out powers and then taking everything in return.
How many calories do you think the Earth would be?
Well, uranium's apparently an absurd level of calories, so literal Googleplex levels.
Yeah.
The answer is not enough.
Yeah, apparently the answer's not enough. And honestly, if rocks were really that calorie dense, we would have evolved to eat them.
True. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Calorie is just a way to measure energy stored in biological carbon-based molecules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means they don't have any calories.
Yeah. Still about 700 billion tons of carbon in living organisms. Quite a bit.
And for a twist, they are a failed creation of the light made to fight entropy. Also true, yes. It would be interesting. Like, Destiny is one of those few that could fuse with Worm, and you would actually get an interesting story out of it.
If you could write.
Yeah, caveat, you need to be able to write.
Yeah, which is a skill most people seem to lack.
Wait, celestial bodies in Destiny are alive?
News to me.
Alright. Well. And point being is that the author could have done this in a dozen different ways that are very simple, easy to explain and hand wave away, and honestly wouldn't have impacted the story at all. And would have still given her or him the same result as if Zelrich did it. Except they did Zelrich, which just makes the story complicated. Really, really complicated. So blah blah blah. Canon happens. Taylor throws a fucking fit. Blah blah blah. An old man with crimson eyes is looking at her, and she realized she wasn't in Winslow anymore. Who are you? Call me a concerned third party. Take a seat. Take a seat where? Oh my god, that's a seat. Oh my god, you're a cape. Sorry, that's rich, my dear, but I'm not a parahuman. I'm a magician. Call me Zelrich. Inwardly, Taylor groaned, so he's like, Mirrodin, great. Now, before you write me off as one of that startup copycats, look into my eyes. Did I stutter? I'm not doing that. You don't have much of a choice. Then she looked into the empty void, and the empty void looked back into her. And so she complied with the crazy old man's whims. As Taylor stared into his eyes, he uploaded a shit ton of information into her brain. Pretty much a Wikipedia of every bit of Nasuverse information.
Fucking stupid.
Blah blah blah, you're a vampire. Apologies, I couldn't help myself. I'm now into business. Taylor, I need you to save the world. Blah 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 blah. What do you mean? Allow me to show you. You're not fucking with my head again. Fine, I'll use illusions this time. Your Earth is familiar with alternate Earths. You even call your own Earth Earthbet. Cute. Let's go with Earth Omega. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. This is a fusion world, which somehow implies that the entities are going to be involved here, which makes no fucking sense.
Interesting. Taste the wall.
Taking Queen is still my favorite Worm crossover. Taking Queen, that was the one where she goes around, fucks everyone's day up, and then kills things, right?
Yes.
That was pretty good,
Same
yeah.
mindset.
Is that a thing Zelrich can do? Sounds like bullshit. Maybe. I know they have eyes of hypnosis. I'm not really sure about the eyes of hypnosis ability to implant literally a Wikipedia of information in you, though. So
yeah, it seems like some creative interpretation here.
yeah. So Earth Omega. Now, blah blah, parallel worlds, me, powers, blah blah blah. Alien, that's where you're going with this. Very good. You figured it out. It's like, no, these creatures, entities, are a source of your parahuman powers. Wait, what? People in my dimension know about these things? So that's the source of powers? Perceptive. Yes, there's a group calls themselves Cauldron has been attempting to make plans to fight the entities and their weapons, the Endbringers. Before you ask more questions, let me finish. Blah blah blah, entities, blah blah blah, trigger event, blah blah blah, Manton effect, blah blah blah, aliens. Experimentation, blah blah blah. I've left them alone, however, because they don't seem to mean Earth direct harm.
Interesting.
How do you think they recall their shards? Just throwing that out there. When there was a literal brain mutation, how do you think they recall their shards? And how do you think
Offensive
the person
brain
with shards
aneurysm.
currently connected to them? Yeah, brain aneurysm. Yeah. Also, Maguses would actually be very invested in killing off parahumans.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because
Dissect them,
Well,
find
I
the
mean-
magic gene.
I mean, yes,
Well,
there's
Arium
that.
gene.
But also because as technology advances and we were able to explain things like flight and whatnot, mages lost the ability to fly because it wasn't magic anymore, effectively. And
True.
so it lost humanity's will to call something magical, and because something wasn't magical anymore, it couldn't be done with magic. And so if people are running around throwing fireballs, creating explosions, doing alchemy with tinker powers and other various things, that would literally cause mages' spells to slowly lose their ability to be mage spells as people stopped believing in magic and started believing in parahuman power.
Yeah. Nasu
So-
was really on some shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, Nasu was on some shit. So yeah, the mages would literally be exterminating parahumans. So anyway, blah blah blah, I invented Chaldea, blah blah blah, you should go work for them, blah blah blah. The armor I have conjured here is a copy of the Oronteus armor that their agent Mashu Crylight used to
Wait,
compensate for
this was a
weakened state.
Stay Night crossover, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Stay Night, but it's also FGO now. Its power will assist you in battle and help you survive, though it's very defensive. I've modified it to fit you. You can pass it off as Tinker Tech. The next is something I'm also fond of. This bracelet Jewel Wish acts as a summoning matrix to use Chaldea's fate system. A system that summons super beings known as servants. Blah blah blah. The Jewel Wish will be your armory and the servant will be your sword. Blah blah blah. Mystic Code. Materialize and dematerialize, and it's nearly indestructible. Before you ask questions, I will only answer 3. Why me? Why not you? My shard. I have the potential for powers too. Indeed, you have the Queen Administrator shard, which would enable you to have mental abilities. Originally, it would have given you the ability to control bugs, but since I've altered it, it can now be used in conjunction with your Jewel Wish to control your servants.
Well, that's not overpowered at all.
Huh. Okay. You're gonna that's what you leverage Queen Administrator into doing, you're controlling only one servant? I need to get plastered. This idiocy is too great for being sober.
Yeah, welcome to the club, Aura. I'll drink to that,
We're
bro.
all fucking ahead of you on that one, buddy.
Cheers.
Oh. Oh. Ah, it burns. The Maguses behind the UN immigration programs? Yes, they are.
Yep.
Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart?
I believe in the clergy plan.
Your potential, you have got an impressive future ahead of you. Next question, if you're so powerful, why don't you fight it? Maybe I would have once upon a time. However, I'm not as strong as I used to be. My own powers have weakened exponentially. I don't think I can fight the entities anymore. Also, the entities already know of the moonlit world in its entirety, and so now we have to be cautious.
So now you have to be cautious. Alright then, buddy.
How do I summon servants? I put a guidebook in there with you. Now what? Blah blah blah. Read these. Blah blah blah. Amazing. Blah blah blah. Try removing orientis disengage. Blah blah. Activate. Test your abilities. Blah blah blah. Fate Moon. She shouts out loud. And then a servant summoned because she shouted Fate Moon. And it's Shiro.
Wow. Riveting.
Shiro, but you know, Archer Shiro. Classic Archer Shiro.
Yeah.
And then he teleports them back. And Taylor's like, oh my god. And she's like, oh man, that was a dream. And Shiro is just, you know, sitting next to her reading a book. He's like, nope, real. She's like, Emiya. Yep, you shouldn't say that though. Because people might know who I am. I think I've understood what kind of person you are, my master. What kind of person am I? She asked. Someone kind yet average. Those are not words I would use to describe Taylor.
That is
Those are like the opposite of words I would
interesting.
use to describe Taylor.
Yeah, certainly an interpretation.
Yeah. What do we do now? Stuff. My dear master, we train and prepare for hell. Servants can be summoned every 3 days. Command spells are regenerated via Taylor's shard. And she gets 1 every 24 hours, and there's a maximum of 3. That makes no fucking sense at all. Like, Fate normally doesn't make sense at all, but this makes less sense, because now you're trying to mash shit together. You're like, yeah, command spells regenerate because of Taylor's shard. It's like, no.
Yeah.
In Chaldea, command spells regenerate because fuck you, they do.
Yeah. Because game mechanics, retard.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, oh, it's because they got like 19 grails hooked together or something, so they can just like fabricate command shards or some shit, or command spells or whatever. So like making it tied to, like, I could understand it's like, oh yeah, Taylor gets command spells and they're infinite because it's connected to her shard, but she gets them on a very slow rate because of it. It's like, okay, fine, that, all right. It's like, no, because her shard can only hold 3. Why is her shard holding her command spells? Like,
Because
I don't know that I would be entrusting the entities
hey
with something
Taylor,
like
I
that.
know I'm here to help you fight against the space aliens that are invading our planet. So I've decided to go forward with genetically mutating the one attached to your brain and then giving it an unlimited magical power.
I wouldn't trust a passenger with anything like that.
Not at all.
At all, like, Fuck that.
If they know of the moonlit world, why haven't the entities run off screaming? Zelrich is only crazy strong due to borrowing power from his alternates, but there are plenty of people who can fight him. Yes. There are plenty of people in the moonlit world who can absolutely square up to the entities and flat out win.
Easy clap.
Like, Ort.
Yeah.
Mr. Mercury himself.
Like, any of the planet representatives besides Gaia's, because Gaia's already assimilated the concept of death, which means her guardians can die, but all of the other planets haven't yet, so they could literally kick the shit out of the entities because they don't know what death is.
Base.
And since none of the entity abilities work on concepts, and they're all based off of the application of physics and math and, all sorts of other shit that the entities have figured out how to manipulate through quantum foam states, like, magic literally trumps that shit. Like, conceptual death literally trumps that shit. Shiki could walk up and stab him and just kill entities because conceptual death.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's like 8 characters who do that in Fate already.
Yeah.
There's Shiki, and then there's Shiki.
Did we mention Shiki?
Yeah, there's...
That's actually
Hold
not wrong.
on, there's a couple of non-Shikis. There's a couple of
Hang on,
non-Shikis who can stab and kill things.
There's 5 Shikis, 3 of which are the same person, and the other 2 are also the same person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's an awesome moment right there.
Oh,
Didn't one of the Shikis die though?
all of them have technically died at one point.
Like
So-
one is
One
is dead before.
but like Stay Night, people don't die when they are killed.
Well, okay, so one of the 3 Shikis is dead.
Yes.
Like, completely just gone. So, and the other 4 have all died in some form or fashion. But, it's okay, they've walked it off.
Well, they got better.
Unfortunately for those around them. Yeah, Nasu's early work is fucking more bonkers than Fate in some respects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notes. Just notes.
So, we're going to
Notes
go on
moment.
to the next story now.
Alright.
Thank
Yes.
Oh no.
you. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's Konosuba.
I'm like 4 fingers into this whiskey.
That's not enough.
It is not.
No, it ain't.
Not for Sneaky to deal with Konosuba.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I've just been owned by my manager.
Oh girl.
Oh, my manager and I have been through enough things, and at this point, I don't think anything phases her anymore. She just goes, yep, okay, of course you did.
And then, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I read a fic where Taylor had mystic eyes of depth perception. Yes, yeah, that was actually a good one. I like that.
That was
Sounds
finally
like
translated, I
a
believe?
that sounds cool, but I would
like-
not be giving that to someone like Taylor.
Yeah, Hone the Edge by Enso. Yeah, Enso abandoned all of her fics, unfortunately.
Actually, wait, no, hang on. How would that work for Taylor? Like,
What do you
the
mean?
problem with the Mystic Eyes, well, the problem with Mystic Eyes depth perception is they're simultaneously some of the weakest eyes, but also some of the most busted, depending on literally the world. It depends on the perspective of the person. It depends on how they view the world as a whole. Like, both versions of
I
Shiki
think
can see the death lines and everything,
Yes.
but other Mystic Eye users can only see them on living
She can
things.
see the death lines and
think-
everything.
I think
Taylor
she
doesn't have that
got
kind of worldview,
it,
though.
the Karano Kyokai version,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is the more powerful of the two.
well, it's literally just a worldview thing. Taylor's worldview
Yeah,
isn't
something,
like that.
something,
How
blah,
would that
blah,
work?
blah. She goes a little bit insane, something, something. She's got a
We
knife.
do a little trolling.
Of course.
Yeah. So basically,
Didn't
it's
she also
yeah.
take over the ABB at the very end before it got abandoned or
Yeah,
something?
she stabbed all of the ABB to death and took it over.
Sorry, that story was called On the Edge.
Hone the Edge.
Own the Edge.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to check it out just to see how they tried to, I guess, force Taylor's worldview into something that it really
Finally,
wouldn't ever
Homeblade.
become.
Oh, finally Hone Blade. Yeah, there we go. No, I honestly I like
Drop it.
Enso's other story where she's just a straight up ship girl and had to reconcile the fact that she was now entirely a robot with a core.
You know, there are worse things that could happen.
Oh, really? What kind of ship girl do you think she was, Max?
I'm not sure.
Arpeggio
Fantai?
of Blue Steel.
Oh, Arpeggio,
The
oh no.
worst kind of ship girl.
Oh no.
No,
Oh.
no. Because in Cancol, the ship girls are like basically girls that can have like the shadow of a ship and they can summon the rigging. And in
They don't
Azure
summon the
Lane,
rigging, they get the rigging, they can use it.
yeah, in Azure
At least that's
Lane,
what I remember from the anime.
it's more magic-y, where like the rigging kind of just like poofs onto them, and they have a bunch of superhuman powers, and everything's really hand-waved. In Arpeggio of Blue Steel, they are a very science-based creature, where they're an AI core suspended in an energy field inside a shell of nanoparticles that are arranged by micro von Neumann nanomachines, and everything just gets worse from there.
I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
that at least just bumped Arpeggio a little bit higher on the backlog.
It's honestly a really good, just general plot. Personally,
The only thing I've known about Arpeggio up to this point was its opening song, which is a fucking banger.
personally
Carnival.
speaking,
That's the only thing I know.
yeah, personally speaking, just watch the anime. Don't bother with the manga. It's only on chapter like 114 now. It has been a literal decade since I've seen Arpeggio.
Let me guess, the anime is actually like complete, so to speak.
Don't watch the anime movie. Oh, the ending of the anime season was like, okay, like
This ends good.
it was.
So just
It wasn't
watch
like
the
it
first
didn't
12
like yeah, it didn't like wrap things up, but it was like a okay, I can stop watching here and be satisfied.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just stick to the anime and then
Yeah,
stop caring.
Yeah, stick to the anime. If you really want to, you can read the manga. But personally, the anime's animation was great, and they also had some really amazing moments that were like, I am so glad this got animated. Like Carnival.
Carnival was great.
That was great. The movie was a mistake. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay, so watch the anime, avoid the movies, ignore the manga. Got it. I can do that.
Now to just get the time to do it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. The only
Yeah.
good thing about the movies were the action scenes. Yeah, that's what I heard. But anyway, yeah, so Taylor ends up as that. Except she's a fog ship, which is the bad guys.
Hmm. Interesting.
And the worst part about that entire fic was that it ends on a cliffhanger of her quantum radio picking up a transmission from the fog fleet issuing her new orders. And it's like, oh, why does the story die here? God damn it. Because the fog fleet is very Terminator. You know,
Epic.
kill all humanity sort of,
Type beat.
yeah.
As it should be.
Why did Enso
Indeed.
cancel all her fics? From what I have heard from Zeke's, as she decided to go full throttle with her programming career, and just kind of dropped writing as a whole.
Understandable.
Even though she was making a fair bit of money from her Patreon. I don't know what it is, but this recent rash of Skinwalker memes, I don't know where's that all coming from?
No idea, to be honest.
Like, I love some of them where it's like the guy leaning up against the door and he's like, my dog's been scratching at my door for the past 45 minutes, pulls out single-bladed tomahawk, but he's been sleeping on my bed the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh. I love that stuff because I remember seeing that really, really old meme about a quote from a astronaut. Has anyone else ever seen that?
Probably not.
Oh yeah,
So-
the one where the guy's outside.
Yeah, the coolest thing about space is blah blah blah. And the worst part about space is sometimes you're there by your buddy, shaking your head desperately, as there's a guy on the outside banging on the door, asking you to let him in, saying he's me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
New.
Konosuba, bless these fools. Everyone dies eventually. I knew this. But as I stood before the goddess offering me a second chance in the world of magic, I could only think of how lucky I was. Shame my teammates are all idiots. OC. 7 chapters. 63,000 words. So that's like, that's a fair helping of words per
9K.
chapter, yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty good split
Dead
on the
on
average.
9K, pretty much.
Only 41 reviews and 268 favorites. That can't be good for this section.
That is unfortunate. But probably
Indeed.
very deserved.
Probably.
Let's see, what's the top? Ooh. Ooh.
What's the numbers at the top?
4,530 with 2,263 reviews.
Oh,
Oh boy.
I see.
So it's a little bit of a gulf. Also, it's by the guy
That
of
one
Lord of
actually
Land and Fire.
That actually sounds half interesting, the concept of that one.
Yeah, except it's by Lord of Land and Fire, who's got Trump derangement syndrome, so...
Unfortunate.
He's the guy
Oh wait,
that
yeah,
Gray and I
it's
were
that
complaining
guy.
Yeah, he was the guy that Gray and I were complaining about on the Tanya story, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. The leader.
He posted back in like 2016. He posted a chapter. So no,
2016, yeah.
No, it wasn't 2016 because I remember the chapter coming out when I was doing the winter job for Alliance, which was 2019 into 2020.
That was when Political Record was updating.
Yes. He made an entire chapter of like 3,000 something words just ranting about Trump and how evil Trump is and how much Trump is like the Nazis in Tanya.
This is 2018.
And so people justifiably clapped on him.
Yeah.
For it, and he like removed
He deleted the chapter,
purged a bunch of shit, and threw a hissy fit, and kind of killed the story off as well.
Yep.
Good.
Like, yeah, when was the last time that updated? Because he's updating this one constantly. The leader hasn't updated. Oh, since February. Interesting.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed the story itself. I took a bit of a different direction from Political Record, but the author is retarded.
Yeah. Personally speaking, I never liked Political Record.
Fair enough.
I enjoyed the concept, but
yeah,
it kind of went downhill.
Wait, how
Oh.
is this such a freaking upvoted story? It's the second most favorited story. It's only got a single chapter.
Is it a one shot?
No.
It's a rewrite. Oh no.
Oh no.
Wait. Oh no. Who the fuck wrote that? Hectic. Bro, who the
Hectic.
fuck? Who with this?
Oh, he's got a Discord server. Oh, okay, I see. So, what ended up happening probably was he had this big long story written, and then he deleted all the chapters and reposted chapter 1.
That makes sense.
Trump in worm triggers as a Trump. That would be funny.
Yeah, that story has reviews for chapter 3, chapter 20, 21. Yeah.
Okay, see, like, why are the fans able to write a better story?
No way, dude. This fucking review. Paid
We
to black
defeated-
censorship sucks. Are you the Chinese government or an author?
RE, we defeated the Devil King, but now our daily life is compromised. Because accelerated plot progression is the fanfiction as long titles starting with RE are to light novels, Kazuma and his vibrant cohorts, though their primary means of victory, sheer luck and guile, somehow managed to kill the Demon King, who just happens to be around the neighborhood. Humorous ramifications abound. Completed story. 47 chapters. 412,000 words over the course of 3 years. What a lad.
Well done.
God damn.
Yeah.
I think this might be one story that labeled humor that might actually be funny.
How? How are he do it?
Oh. I am worried about this one.
Yeah, I would recommend not.
Oh, I'm worried about this one too.
I mean, it's the Konosuba section.
Yeah.
Considering that, like, Megumin profile pics is pretty much like an instant signifier for a lolicon. Yeah.
The Starday's blessing upon this world.
Oh no. Well, not the Warhammer Astartes. It's the god of lust and fertility. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Very funny. Horny.
Horny indeed, yeah.
I think the Astartes would be more funny, honestly.
It would be a lot more funny, yes. Greetings, sir. You have died. You're not the God Emperor. Where am I? Sir, you've died. You've taken my soul, Chaos Witch.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Quickly reincarnates him forcefully into the world. He begins his purge.
Or the Emperor.
Manages to do this while following the rules because he shot something along the lines of, "Give me my gun and I will show you a true space marine," or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Fuck it, he wished for it!" Boom. What the fuck? Konosuba, I must protect the useless goddess in Japan. Aqua, the goddess of water, is being sent to Japan as a punishment. She has to clear out Tokyo of demons and monsters that came from a different world. Because of her lack of combat abilities, she gets to choose one human to fight for her with special powers. And Kazuma is that lucky one, or the way he sees it, unlucky one. Well, I mean, it's a
Okay.
twist.
It's a twist, not a good one.
Yeah, kind of defeats the point of Konosuba.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole point is he ends up in this stupid world that's governed by stupid laws and everyone's acting like a fucking moron.
Your average D&D campaign.
More or less, yes. Astartes wage war on the Axis and Eris churches because religious bad? Yes. They will spread the true faith that's definitely not a religion. No, don't look at me like that. Of the God Emperor.
Indeed.
Jonathan Kilroy. I didn't remember closing my eyes, or opening them, as a matter of fact. But after I heard the voice I was able to see again, I found myself sitting in a simple wooden chair in a modern-sized room. For a lack of better term, though there were no discernible source of light, I could see the floor was black and white marble arranged like a chessboard, but in comparison the walls were something otherworldly. It was as though someone had taken the night sky and turned it into a sheet to hang from every wall, giving it the feeling of immense vastness, like standing on a mountaintop on a cloudless night. Honestly, if I ever ended up in a room like this, I'd be like, ah, shit, please don't tell me Sheogorath is real.
True.
Aqua would have so many better options, for fuck's sake. Imagine if she chose a Persona or SMT character. Or, you know, fucking even Ranma. Ranma's in Tokyo. So is Sailor Moon. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Also,
if she chose a Persona character, she'd have to deal with child predators, though.
Also, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, her choosing someone from Sailor Moon or Ranma would both be completely within Ranma and Sailor Moon lore of new monsters are showing up, someone claiming to be a goddess that can grant power showed up as well, and now we're fighting them together.
Here we fucking go.
You mean actual goddess? She wasn't an actual goddess, fuck off, she was just really strong. I will Tanya the shit out of you on this one, Nexus. Yeah, no, Ranma would have a blast, yeah. And of course, as Aqua being the goddess of water, he would also constantly get splashed. Which again is completely in line with both Konosuba and Ranma. If you died and you found the afterlife existed, you would not be this calm taking in the surroundings. Also a fair statement. I would be more panicking about what afterlife I ended up in. Not because I'm worried about going to hell or something, but because there's a lot worse places I could end up than hell.
That is very true.
Yeah. Would Aqua as a goddess of water be able to cleanse the curse? I mean, it's a water-based curse, so probably, but at the same time, I feel like she would use that because of both Konosuba and Ranma and how the plots of those go. It would be more along the lines of do it for me and I'll cure you of your curse sort of situation. Worse place than hell, California? Possibly. Quite possibly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because I mean, like, if I end up in hell, I'd just be punished for my sins, right? And as shit of a person as I am, I actually haven't committed many sins. So, you know, there's not much to worry about on that one. Not even like big sins either. I don't think I ever stole anything. I haven't killed anyone yet. Lied, I guess. Yeah, that's really honestly the worst part that I've done in my life. Sin-wise.
Damn. I better step up.
I would be both relieved that I'm not going to hell, slightly blue screened at the idea that the God I worship never existed, or fucked off, dreading what comes next. Yeah, fair enough. Reminds me of a new times 10 snippet. Contessa sends Taylor to Kamagorag. Oh, times 10 updated?
The Dark Elf area?
She ends up in Warhammer?
Comrag. The Comrag.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much what it's used for there.
Fair enough.
Alright, hey, Aura, link me that one, because that one sounds, interesting, I suppose. You would think the Taylor in WoW one would be interesting, but honestly, it wasn't.
It was dull.
It was very dull. Maybe we're just saying that as a competing WoW post-GM Taylor story, but it was just really dull. Taylor kind of just sat there and accepted everything.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh my god, Taylor's gonna take control of the Cult of the Damned. Oh my god, Taylor's gonna do this then. He just didn't do anything. Also, it was a really bad time to put her in, like, before the fall of Dol-Ran with the betrayal of Kel'Thuzad. Like, there's barely anything she can do at that point in time. And yeah, she gets to meet Arthas and Jaina, but like, Arthas was deeply in love with Jaina.
Before...
Like, but my issue here is, like, long before Arthas became the Lich King, Arthas was deeply in love with Jaina. And even her saying, Arthas, please don't purge this city completely of your own free will without any manipulation. And Arthas went, Jaina, I'm sorry, but I have to. To the one person that possibly could have convinced him not to, even she couldn't do it. And you're gonna somehow say that Taylor might pull it off? Like, there's not a lot of deviation I can see going on by including Taylor in that time period. And that's like one of the only few situations, like, she somehow fixes the undead plague before it happens, basically. That's the, like, only thing I can really see as a deviation from putting her in that time space. Still not as dull as mine. I need the commission one where she goes to Dark Souls. It's funny you say that.
The what?
Because Gray has a Dark Souls worm story.
Oh, yeah.
It's also dead as hell.
Yeah, because I can't figure out what the fuck I'm doing there.
Yeah, because I'm sorry to say,
because I have no...
If you don't do a post-Golden Morning Taylor, the trappings of Wormplot are just too restrictive. Like, you can get really creative, and you can write all of the original scenarios you want for Worm, but much like Naruto, and there is some plots that just have to happen, like they're required to happen, like the tuning exams just have to happen. They're completely outside of the ability of the original character or of the ability of the altered main character's realm of experiences to change. Like, no matter what happens as a Genin, they have to go through the tuning exams. Now, admittedly, they don't have to go through the tuning exams where Orochimaru attacks, but they still have to go through the tuning exams eventually. Like, it's a station of canon, and Orochimaru is going to attack during one of the tuning exams in Konoha. It's just gonna happen. Unless you kill Orochimaru before the exams happen, he's going to attack. It would be funny if Taylor makes the undead shit worse and well. It's funny you say that!
We've already done that!
We have already done that.
And it's much more interesting.
Everything has now become far worse.
Yeah.
We have an undead dragon aspect. Specifically, life is now undead.
Yes, that too. Also,
Because fuck you.
Worm Rest turned into the Dragon Blight Scar, which is, imagine, the Blight Scar from the Blood Elf starter area mixed with Surumar's Mana Blight Scars. Yeah.
And then add nuclear reactors, essentially.
Yeah. Leaking nuclear reactors everywhere. Yeah. It's great. I love it. That'd be an amazing zone to play in. I'm just saying, Blizzard, please. Why?
Yes.
I read a good fic where Team 7 never takes
Because
part in the
they're thirsty.
exams because they're out of Konoha after a mission goes bad and they miss everything and they come back to a semi-destroyed village. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a clever way to go about it, but, like, did the fic ever complete?
I've
What?
seen one where there was no tuning exam, but
Yeah, no,
that
it
was
didn't,
more
yeah, of course it didn't
because
complete. But, like, that's my point, though, is, like, the problem with the tuning exams is it's basically a death point. It's much like Worm and its Leviathan fight. It's much like Worm and dealing with Coil. It's much like Worm and dealing with Cauldron. Like it's like Worm and dealing with Zion. There are just certain stations of canon that you can't avoid because they're not involved by the character's choices. They are just simply things that were always going to happen. The main character is going to have to deal with. And very rarely are the power sets given to Taylor viable against these threats. Like, how is Taylor... maybe that one's a bad one to ask. Like, how is Taylor with Mario powers gonna fight Leviathan? There's a lot of silly shit that happens in Mario that she can probably pull out of her ass to fight Leviathan with and Zion in the end. But that's because she's not actually a parahuman, so she actually can just be like, I need this to fight Leviathan, and then her helper can go, oh, this will help. Like, what are some clever old powers that Taylor had? Taylor the Maid. Taylor is Pacioli and shit. Where,
Wait, Patchy?
yeah,
I thought it
Taylor
was
is Paci.
Patchy.
Yeah,
that
no.
one.
That's a dead as hell fic.
No.
Taylor from one universe.
Well,
That
ends
one's
up-
dead as
Maid.
hell.
Yeah, it's dead as hell.
Unless we're not talking about two, in which case, fuck you.
What?
Never mind, who cares?
She's Pacioli. She's the sickly girl.
Yeah, okay. She's not a maid, though.
Yeah, no, she's the sickly girl, and she gets her powers, and she's learning magic and shit, and then she ends up in Earthbed, and then the story dies because where does the author go from there? I guess Taylor dies the Leviathan. Like,
Amazing.
I'm gonna shoot a laser beam at Leviathan, and then Leviathan's gonna punch me into outer space.
Epic.
That's the end of that story.
Yeah.
Leviathan and Zion
is,
are in great part dependent
not
on
that
character
strong.
actions.
By two terms.
Yes, they are. However, the entity's plan to wipe out everyone is kind of set in stone. I mean, I guess you can try and talk Zion out of being a depressed nutcase who's bent on destroying the entire world, but you don't really need superpowers to do that one. Oh yeah, no, surprisingly the Pacioli fic did a very good job of displaying to the audience Taylor's mindset during that time period. very accurately from a while a biased, but it was sort of an unbiased outsider perspective because it was also Taylor describing it. But yeah, it was very accurate, and a lot of the audience really hated the author, saying that's not how Taylor was. And it's like, no, Taylor was like that during that time period. She was a pretty paranoid, awful person who didn't trust anyone, but also at the same time would do stuff because she didn't trust those people and fuck them over to the point where they would stop trusting her, thus validating her distrust in them.
Interesting.
And yeah, Taylor with street level powers, or any SLA with street level powers, is gonna die when the bigger bads and stuff hit. So it's you just tell when a story not to bother with. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because there's a lot of stories out there that are like, those are cool powers and I would love to see it in the world. But then there's the problem of Leviathan and the other Endbringers and Scion. And while they're very dependent, and you can just have the Endbringers constantly attack everywhere but Brockton Bay, that doesn't stop them from existing, and it doesn't stop them from being a problem, and it doesn't stop them from being a narrative discussion of like, oh, if Taylor's got all this fucking power, why isn't she doing the Endbringers? Because reasons and stuff. Okay, sure. The girl who's suicidally a hero doesn't want to deal with the Endbringers despite having a bunch of power. The converse of those fics is like taking Queen, where Taylor does in fact throw down and win against entities from the get-go, and everyone and just teams roll everyone. Somehow it was quite good read. Yeah, that's because it was written really well and very in theme. Yeah, it's very dependent on the pacing. It's hard to tell a very slow-paced story when your character has super OP powers. One Punch Man did it by telling the story of everyone else, and Saitama sort of just reacting to everything that was happening. And so it spent very little time telling Saitama's story, and a lot of time telling everyone else's stories, which allowed it to fill the air with information that seemed relevant and got you invested, even though you know Saitama's just gonna one punch everything. And with Taken Queen, for example, it was a story that was interesting if you knew what Destiny was and you knew what the Taken King was. It was a story that was interesting because it was written with a very distorted main character perspective. And I don't mean distorted as in like weird. I meant as in distorted as in a very interesting way of seeing and understanding the world due to her new powers. And so it kept that ethereal quality to it, and personally, to me, that's what kept me reading, because it was just so weird. And also because I wanted to see what would happen if the Taken King squared up against the entities. And other things, you know. But yeah, in post Golden Morning, Taylor is pretty much the only Taylor you can get away with yeeting into other worlds. Because as far as we all know, Contessa could have done anything with the body afterwards, and you know, isekai, hand waving bullshit, and you know, there's a whole bunch of ways at the end you could just be like, yeah, she just ends up somewhere else. Without her powers or with her powers, because again, Contessa. And so it's a really nice hand wavium spot where you can just be like, thing happens, and now Taylor is in this place with all of her experiences and characters already developed, so you don't even need to write that part.
Things and stuff.
Makes sense, Alexandria. So when are we going to start planning on what we're doing against Scion? Taylor, oh look, I took care of him already. Alexandria, EXE stuff working. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Worm's got a lot of problems in it. On a writing level, on a fanfiction writing level, it's got a lot of story kill moments. both the fact that it runs for so long, because it is quite a long series. 1 million words is a long series to write fan fiction about. And on top of that, a lot of shit goes down that only goes down because the exact power set that Taylor has and her exact reactions because of that power set and her experiences that she has. And if she's given different powers and has a different personality and develops differently at all and deviates at all, a lot of the things that happen in Worm don't happen, and that really gives a lot of freeform to authors, which, of course, being first time, second time authors, they don't really know what to do with or where to go with it.
Yeah, it's a
And
terrible
the more they
mistake.
try and force these new Taylors into the same mold as canon to keep her doing the canon events, the less sense it makes. And eventually they just give up because their story doesn't make sense anymore and they've lost passion for it because it's so hard to keep writing. And so, then you have a bunch of kill moments, like I said. You got the Slaughterhouse 9, which is whenever Taylor starts doing well or makes a big splash with her powers, the Slaughterhouse 9 are pretty much guaranteed to show up at some point, because that's what they're canonically they do, is, oh, this person's going out and helping a bunch of people, time to fucking murder them. So, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of shit you have to deal with in Worm to write a Worm story, so it's easier just to take the character from Worm and put her somewhere else.
Yeah, yoink. Gives me that.
But it's 9 o'clock, so we'll not read this story tonight. We'll move on.
Excellent.
Save it for next time.
Please don't.
Rejected.
Oh well. Maybe next time.
But of course, there is always more, and it always gets worse.